Mountain Wyoming. Still getting used to the idea of spawning and actually having a person sitting there. This house is protected by the good Lord and a gun. It's good American slang or reality. Okay, we got ourselves a plow and we got ourselves a secondary tractor. I have started to seed this particular field, which I'll show you which one it is. Our top field. No, our bottom field, sorry. It looked like a top field from over there. I've actually plowed, put line on both of our fields that we have, both of our arable fields. I did record it, but in the end it was just, me going up and down the fields. I didn't think it was that interesting. We have spent all our money that we own. We bought this tractor from the used vehicle. As you can see, it's got 42 hours on it. And we also bought a rock picker, as it stands to reason, because after plowing we do need to pick rocks, the rocks off the field, that is. Now I realize that in America Massey Ferguson is probably not the most popular brand, but that's the only thing that was available that we could afford in the used vehicle. There was a Fendt, but it was $100,000 more expensive than this one, so we couldn't afford to buy it. We are eventually going to be sticking to the more popular American brands, and that is John Deere and Case. But for now, that's what it's going to be. So this is going to be barley, and I believe we're going to plant, I was going to say canola, but not canola, oats in the other field. Okay, so what are we going to do now? So we're going to plant this, and then we're going to go and try and make some money, either on a contract or and we got ourselves a new ute or truck, or truck in America, I suppose. Ute in Australia. Truck in Australia is a truck. This little like Toyota Hiluxes and Volkswagen Amaroks and even the F-150s and all that, they're utes in Australia, they're not trucks. Now that we're getting a lot of the American trucks, utes in Australia, the lingo is starting to change, and all of a sudden they're being called trucks now. It's amazing how quickly a nation is being influenced by another nation just purely because we get their equipment in here. I'm not saying that as a bad thing or as anything, just as a statement. You would be laughed out a few years back if you looked at your ute or your 4x4 with a ute tray on the back and called it a truck. People in Australia would laugh at you. And yet now, the last few years, they've started to bring quite a lot of the American F-150s and the different brands equivalent. And now all of a sudden everything is a truck. But anyway, such is life. Let's just make sure that I have planted everything on that field. We don't want to walk away from it. Okay, beautiful. Okay, set up course plate to do this, and like I said, we are going to do oats, fill that up. And I hate the way it does that. Starts right over there and then misses all that little bit over there. I have no idea why it does it, but anyway. Well, I do know why it does it, because where you put your cursors as you do, that's where they start work. So we're going to have oats and barley. The reason that I went for oats is just in case we are going to go for horses or anything like that, buy some horses on the field, we have some oats. Now, for us to make money quick, we are going to need to obviously get into the animal side of things fairly quickly. Hence why I left myself a bit of space over here on top of the screen. Is if we need to add chickens or stuff like that, we can add them over there. I have not looked to see if chickens are already on the map. So yeah, we will find out, I suppose. The reason that I'm hanging around with him is because I want to see if he's going to get stuck into that tree. I think there's a tree here somewhere that is fairly close to the edge, and from the way he takes the corners, it looks like we might have a problem with him. Now we do have some soybeans, obviously, that we harvested from the field that we own. As we start the map, it has soybeans on it. So we're in a process at the moment of storing that, and hopefully we'll get good prices for it, and we can get rid of it, sell it, and make ourselves some money. You don't have access to this land. Yeah, I do. But it's going to do that, so that's fine. Alright, so it must be on the other field that we have that tree. I think so, it's on the other field. So we're not really going to be struggling here. Okay, we'll get our, we'll let him do his work. We'll get our ute. There you are. And where did I put those trees? Does this have? Yes, it does. I've had some trees that I collected, and that's one thing that I wanted to see, if they disappear. Looks like they've disappeared, right? Because they're definitely here somewhere. Okay, so even though I collected them, they've disappeared, and I'm assuming that they spawned back where we found them. Right. I have no idea if you can sell those trees or not, but I'm going to attempt to see if we can find some trees like that. And whoa. Definitely didn't expect that to be such a huge drop all of a sudden, but that's okay. We'll use the bridge. Alright, let's back you off. I didn't expect it to be that high. Let's have a look. Are they already dead? Is it just me, or... Okay, let's clear out all the foliage off the tree. Now this is a service that we do, obviously, by maintaining the trees. Well, where are you going? Down the hill. Maintaining the forestry. As many of you would be aware, dead trees. Okay, we'll just let them finish rolling. Dead trees is what causes fires. So we are going to... That just disappeared. No. So we're going to clean the trees in our area, and then obviously see if we can sell them. Okay, so the beauty of it is that I don't even need... Oh, you're kidding me. Pressed the wrong button and dropped my tree. Oh. This one's heavier. Okay, why are you doing that? Oh, okay. Never mind. It's doing that because it's a bit longer than it needs to be. You know what? You stay here on the ground and we will cut you in half. Okay, obviously that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Alright, let's go get our other trees. obviously I am going to get a timber trailer, because this map, you cannot play this map without actually taking some care of your forestry. Like, I'm not massive into forestry and all that, doing forestry to, like, you know, some people love doing forestry. That's not me. But as you would in real life you would not allow you know, dead wood to be sitting around your farm, because dead wood is the one that catches on fire, and then you got massive problems. So it would be more from a perspective of cleaning your farm than actually you know, using the wood to sell it to make money. Now, in our case, we don't have any other use for it other than selling it to make money. So we are going, well, I'm hoping that we have somewhere to sell wood, because I have not checked, to be honest, so I don't know if we do. But I would be very surprised on this kind of map not to have a sales point for wood. Wood. Whoa, very good prices. Outdoor wood boiler for the range to use for wood. Outdoor wood boiler. Where on earth is that? So that obviously sounds like it's on our farm somewhere. Outdoor wood boiler. Okay, that's exactly where we're heading. It's a little bit disappointing that you can't sell them straight off the truck, but I suppose in reality you couldn't sell them off the truck. You would have to unload them to be able to sell them. So we started with $4,000. I wonder what worker. Okay, what did I lose $2,000 with? Okay, and what do we need to do with this? Is this one of those that you need seed? Okay, so you just need water. Let's have a look at it over here. Water. Okay, so we need to go and get some water for it. Okay, so we double checked. I didn't want to do anything wrong. We are given permission by the local council to trim these dead trees. We are not allowed to obviously touch anything that's not dead, and everything that's not on our property, obviously, that is not dead, we're not allowed to touch. So we are going to clean these trees out. I leased myself a truck, I was going to say, but no, I did not lease a truck. So it's getting ready for summer. No, it's not. It's getting ready for winter, but we are clearing out. Okay. I was really hoping that this would disappear, to be honest. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's not dead, but this is. So we're kind of doing a bit of a cleaning out as far as, whoa. Well, I couldn't have put that better if I tried. Now, I'm not sure what kind of weight my truck will be able to handle. But you know what? Let's try. Let's try this and see how it handles it before we take it any further. Okay, it can go quite a bit more in front. Okay, that's kind of pushing it too much. Okay. Oh, don't get stuck. Now, I only got this trailer because it's one, a car trailer. So it is designed for cars. And two, it's the cheapest thing that we can afford. So I didn't want to go and borrow money to lease a wood trailer. The point is that we are short of money. I haven't looked to see if we can do any contracts, but for now we'll just stick with this. I like the fact that I can pick a lot of these things up, so I don't even have to use super strength. It can just be naturally picked up. Well, that is a surprise. I don't even have to use super strength to be able to pick this whole tree up. I honestly wouldn't have thought that's possible, but there you are. Maybe because it's a dead tree. It's classified as no weight to it at all. So I don't know, but it's a surprise to me that I could pick it up. Oh, okay. Come on. Seem to have a lot of problems with, there you are, with this. It works, then it doesn't work, then it works, then it doesn't work, then it works again, then it doesn't work. There seems to be a lot of issues with FS22. I don't remember that being in the previous FSs. Don't know why I did that. That's a silly thing to do. Now I'm gonna have this tiny little thing here. Just chuck it in the back over here. So this way, having the trailer means I can carry 2 trees, no problem. Okay, beautiful. Maybe I'm gonna get that measuring so I can roughly get them all about the same size. Okay, there is a couple of more dead trees over there. We'll go get them. And at least we know that, oh, there's 3 more dead trees over here. And at least we know this way that we have dealt with the dead trees in this side of the forest. Now we don't get paid to do this job. The reward is that we get to keep the trees, that's it. So we don't get to double dip as far as... oh, thought it was gonna come on me. Collapse on me, that is. Alright, let's... It's just surprising that I don't have to use super strength at all. I can just carry them as if they're not even there. Which is interesting, a whole tree. I like the sound that he's added to the map. Now I realize that he hasn't cleaned all of them for whatever reason, but we'll do it. Oh, he doesn't like it like with no... Well, there you are. I could walk straight past. It's kind of a little bit ridiculous because the tree's walking through me, but... Alright, let's try and sort of level it there with the car, have it a bit leveled. I need to get myself a semi, and that way I can definitely carry these massive trees, no problem. You know, seeing this, like I said, I'm not really into forestry that way, but back home when I was a little kid, my uncle, back in the communist times, he used to specialize in working with trees with lumber. Not specialized working with trees. He used to create beams and all that sort of stuff. He had the machinery and all the back then, communist countries, you couldn't just go into the forest and cut trees, even if you owned the land. The trees were not yours, so you couldn't do whatever you wanted with them. But the hierarchies, the very people that would punish you massively if you cut any of the trees down, they would cut trees to make themselves holiday homes. Because my uncle used to live, or still does, not used to live, in a very picturesque area next to lakes and mountains and all that sort of stuff. So they would have timber trucks. They would come over with trees. Oh, again, doesn't work. And I remember they would deliver him to his house, and the way they would deliver him to his house is exactly like this, like what I'm doing. They just dump him on the road next to his house, and he would pick him up, take him in, and build whatever, or make those tree trunks into whatever they were told, or he was told to do. Now, that's how things were done back in those days, back in communist countries. I hate that. You wanted something, they would get you to do them favors. Okay, that's not what I wanted, but we will carry this because we don't want it to be left here. So yeah, seeing this just brings back memory how many times I would help him bring the trees from the street. And funnily enough, like, even though these were hierarchies, as you would say, it would still be hush hush. Like, they would pretend that like they would drop the trees, and we would have to rush to pick the trees and put them inside so they couldn't be seen, despite the fact that these people were they were the hierarchies of that area. So it's not like anything would ever happen to them, because they'd be the ones that pretty much they make the rules as such. Well, they don't really. There were rules. Like, if you ever look into the communism system, you'll see that the rules that they had were actually, in many ways, they seem like the better rules than democracy rule, democratic rules. This is why I see it in America now, where people are having massive debates in universities where they're talking about, oh, come on, level up, about socialist ideas. And I see people saying, oh, everything is better because of this. If you look at the system, the communist or the socialist system is so well put as far as rules are concerned, that if you stood it against any democratic rules, you would say they're better. I'll give you a simple example. Our leader, communist leader, dictator, wasn't a leader. He would be known as comrade, or what we would call him, tovarищ. The idea behind that is that he is equal to us. That's the idea. So the idea that he puts is that, there is no, just because he's the leader of the country, he does not have advantages over you, the basic citizen, right? And that sounds fantastic, doesn't it? For example, you had free, you needed to go to doctors, free. If you needed to see a specialist, it was free. And when you listen to that, especially us living in democratic countries, we all know how expensive seeing a specialist is. For example, a doctor in medicine, or specialist in anything, even a plumber if he's a specialist these days, right? Back in the communist country, that would be seen as free education, supposedly, right? And all these things, and they sound so good. Like, if you've lived in a country like America or countries like Australia your entire life, you would never understand these things, because you would just see them on paper, and you would think, because they're written on paper, that's such a great idea, and we should be going. I see it, Ben Shapiro, for example, arguing with a lot of these people, and I always wonder, what should happen? There's no need for an argument. Send these people to some of these communist countries. Send them to China, for example, and just get them to go and register a car. Nothing massive. We're not talking something, I just destroyed my car. Just go register a car. Where I come from, you couldn't buy a car. So it wasn't an ideology where, if you had the money, you could buy a car. No way. There's no such thing. They would come as privileges. Now, again, keep in mind, I've just said that in written form, there was no difference. But that was just in written form. When you're dealing with people that are corrupt, and this is what happens in socialist ideologies. Look at Russia right now. It doesn't matter what the generals think. It doesn't matter whether, some other army people think this is a horrible idea. We shouldn't be doing this. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares what little or general things. He's just there on paper. In reality, he doesn't really have any sort of power. If he even remotely says something that is not liked by Mr. Putin, he's gone. And that's what I said. You see it, and on paper it sounds fantastic. When you see these kind of things on paper, they sound so good. This is why I like watching people like Ben Shapiro, for example. He tries to convince people at universities in America that the communist system or the socialist system is so bad, and he tries to use all these arguments. And you're never going to win, because somebody that has lived in freedom his entire or her entire life, and going to universities and things of that nature, they don't understand what it's like where your one man decides that, you know what, you should only have one bread a day, or you're only allowed X amount of butter per month. You try and explain that to someone that can go shopping and buy all the butter he wants, but he thinks, oh, this billionaire is corrupt and he's stealing all my opportunities. Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending the billionaires. No doubt about it that they do some shady stuff to get where they are, but that's their problem. I just say, look at the little things. Don't worry about the big things. The big things would be exactly the same whether you're communist or look in all the communist countries. The rich are rich and the poor are poor. But at least in free countries, you have the opportunity to go buy 20 breads if you want. Let me tell you something. Where I come from, you couldn't do that. You couldn't have milk. You couldn't have oil. You couldn't have sugar. Needless to say, that meat was when meat was available at the shops, you would be lining up, forever type of thing. Now, I know to people that have never lived there in that type of environment, it sounds like, yeah, right. It's true. Shoes, you couldn't buy shoes that you wanted. Like I see here, oh, it's got to be a certain brand, it's got to be a certain thing. When I see that, I think, and then I hear these people whinging and complaining, I said, that's what I would do. I wouldn't do anything else. I'd just get these socialists in our democratic systems. Just take them to one of these communist countries and just get them to do something, anything to do with the government. And then you will quickly see what the socialist ideology is. You just can't imagine it. But it's seen as something wow by so many people in the free world. And again, I'm not saying that the system that we have both in Australia and America is perfect, not even close. You just had to look at with this virus on how our governments started to become similar to their communist counterparts. What you saw there is exactly what people in communist countries live, but not on just diseases, on viruses and everything else. They live like that on everything. The leader wants to go to war, you don't get a say. I don't care how high you are, you don't get a say. You get a say and you speak your mind up. Next week you don't exist, or something else happens to you. You want to buy food, you can't. You want to buy houses, you can't. We couldn't travel where we were in between major cities without permission. And I'll say that again, maybe some of you will be like, what? Yeah, that's true. We couldn't travel between certain cities without permission. More than that, you couldn't drive your car on every day of the week. Right? You couldn't just go, oh, well, I feel like going for a drive. No. You can say whatever you want. That does not happen. Oops, go away. You have, there were certain days, certain weekends, for example, you wanted to go for a drive this particular weekend or whatever, you had to make sure there was your number plate. So the way they had it is odds and evens. If your number plate was odd, you could drive this weekend. If your was even, you would drive next weekend, and so on. So you just think of those little things like that. Universities wasn't for everybody. You could be the smartest kid in the school if your parents were the wrong type of parents, or somebody that probably because back in communist countries, it's not like here where you pay to go to universities. It's free, right? That's what they tell you. So it's free studies, free all this, but you have to qualify, right? So what we would do, and what every parent would do that would see that their kids are a bit smart, you would bribe off the officials to make sure that, despite the fact that your kid is capable, you would bribe off the officials to make sure that your child makes it in, and so on. You'd go to the doctor. The doctor wouldn't even look at you if you don't take him something. Again, free, right? Free medicine, free houses. You work for a company. The company owns the house you live in. If they sack you, you not only lose your job, you lose your house. So you can imagine that all of a sudden you lost your job, and the company says, well, we need that apartment that we gave you, because most people lived in apartments, they didn't live in houses. And then all of a sudden you need to find not a house, you need to find a job to be able to have a house. And there's so many things like that I can say to you. And this is the difference, where I think a lot of us, we don't really comprehend, we don't really understand these things. But we don't understand it because we've always had the freedom to have these things. And I think a lot of people don't really understand these things, and it's understandable. Anyway, I think I kind of got sidetracked. I'm trying to even remember how I got into this topic, and for the life of me I can't remember. Okay, let's try and get you across, and I think we've kind of got ourselves enough. Let's not lose them in the wrong place. This is why the Bible tells us the only true freedom is the freedom where people understand the freedom is freedom in Christ. It's where you're truly free from all these worldly things. But again, I think I remember seeing a person saying, some university did a study in Australia, for example, and they were saying that there's three generations of Australians that don't know the meaning no to not have something, and they were saying, how shocked these people would be should there ever be a world war where their parents and even some of their grandparents do not know the idea of going to the shop and it's empty. I remember seeing the faces of people when the pandemic, this virus came along, and pandemic and all this stuff, and people would go to the shop and the shelves would be empty. You could tell on their faces that they were so stressed. And when I say empty, I don't mean empty. There's still plenty of food, but they just didn't obviously have the things that were popular, their favorite cereal brand and so on. There's plenty of cereal, it's just not the one that's as popular. And people were shocked, people were stressed, people were like, whoa, what's going to happen? And then when they did have something in, people bought, one guy here bought $10,000 worth of toilet paper. But he was a bit greedy. He thought, I'm going to buy this toilet paper, and people are going to need toilet paper, and guess what? I'll be the only one that has it. And then when he realized that was a stupid business venture, he tried to return it, but they told him bad luck. So yeah, come on, stop picking up the ute. Okay, we get ourselves a bit of timber here. Let's see if we can sell it on top of this. Yes, we did. All right, so we got $9,000. Let's return. The trailer, we're not really going to need it anymore for now, so we don't have to pay. Not that it's that big of a deal. What's about? See, this is the tractor that I was talking about. Anyway. Okay, let's get out of here and find ourselves another job. Drive the guy over there. This is, by the way, a European communist car, but it wasn't like this, trust me. The front of it is like that, but you never saw this kind of use, or even close. You know, if you're interested, you can Google places like Romania, places like Poland, places like Hungary, and you know, they were probably a little bit less known as communist countries, and do a little bit of research and see what they were like. Okay, no, we don't need you. No, we don't need you. Let's see how our work. Oh, I forget about this all the time now. Okay, let's get you out of here. Okay, so we planted our fields. I didn't think it was necessary for me to show the planting. You've seen me do it quite a few times in my videos. And I thought, you know, we do need some money, and we went along the way where we can make ourselves a bit of cash. We still got 900 liters of seed, which is good. We make ourselves some cash and get ourselves a little bit out of financial problems. Because at the moment we're kind of struggling financially. Okay. Boom, done. All right, I think we'll leave this episode here. Thank you very much for... Oh, press the wrong button. Oh, no, do not do that. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. As always, you be kind to each other. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down. I'll do my best to try and answer them. If you have any suggestions for this game, feel free to put it down. And again, I will do my best to try and answer it. You have a wonderful day. If you like what you see, consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. God bless you all. Bye-bye.